Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am filming a not really highly requested video, but I've gotten a lot of questions about this, so I wanted to answer them. So today I'm going to be sharing my entire TEDx Canada experience, what it was like to give a TED Talk, how I did it, how I got the audition, what I had to do to prepare, how I felt, was I nervous, blah blah blah. I finally think I've come down from the high of it all. The event was about 6 weeks ago. The videos are now up on YouTube, so I will post a link down below if you haven't seen it yet to watch it. If you haven't seen my TEDx talk, first of all, I highly recommend that you watch it. I'm probably a little biased, but I would really appreciate if you watched it. My goal is to get the video to 8 million views to sort of resemble or in honor of the 8 million tons of plastic that enter our oceans every single year. So if you can't already guess, my talk is about plastic pollution in the oceans, and obviously, if you followed me for a while, you know that's a topic that I am very, very passionate about. And I was so excited to be able to share my story and share this story with the world through this TEDx talk. And I guess that's how I'll start off talking about my experience, that I'm just so grateful and honored that I even had the opportunity to do this. It really was a career milestone, I think one of the biggest highlights of my life so far, and I'm so grateful and I'm so humbled by it all. So I guess I'll start at the beginning as to how I decided I was going to do a TED Talk. So what had happened was in May of 2017, I spoke at a Women in Travel Summit in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And after I did that talk, I first of all enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, and afterwards I was super excited and I loved it, and I was like, this public speaking thing it's a great way to get my message across, because as an academic writer, I know most people are not reading my stuff, aside from profs and TAs, and even as a blogger, I've recognized that people are lazy-ish, and the time that it takes to read 4,000 words and to say 4,000 words is very, very different. So I wanted to see if I could leverage public speaking to get my message across more often, and see just basically what this other platform could offer me. So after I spoke at the Women in Travel Summit, I started looking for other speaking opportunities, and I'm pretty sure what I literally typed into Google was something like conferences similar to TED or speaking opportunities similar to TED. So doing a TED Talk was it was like the opposite of what I wanted to do. I wanted things similar, but I never thought that I was like, I can't do a TED Talk. Like, who am I? I haven't even finished my degree yet. Like, I'm not an expert. So I was literally looking for things like TED Talks, but maybe at a little bit of a lower caliber. And I came across a lot of different conferences, and nothing really stood out to me. And finally one day I was like, okay, you know what, I'll just apply. I'll look at these TEDx events, I'll see, what's the worst that could happen, they'll say no. Basically, first of all, how I went about finding a TEDx talk is if you go on the TEDx website, there's like a map, and you can look at all the upcoming TEDx events around the world. So I basically just went to North America and I looked at all the different TEDx events happening around me. And I applied to more than one. I want to say I applied to about 5 or 6. I think I definitely applied to Canada, obviously. I think I also applied to Montreal and Toronto and possibly Buffalo. I was basically just looking for, basically areas closest to me and the themes that would fit with my ideas, because that's the other thing is TEDx events usually have an underlying theme. So the one that I spoke about was redesign. So for every proposal that I was writing, I would try to tailor it in a way that would complement the theme. So I know there was one that I looked at applying to, and the theme was technology or something like that, and I knew that my idea didn't fit in it, so I didn't apply for that. Whereas TEDx Canada, the theme being redesign, my objective and proposal that I was pitching was to redesign the way that we think about waste and the way that we manage our oceans. So that's sort of my advice if you're thinking about applying to a TEDx event, is to really pay attention to the theme and tailor your proposal. Same thing when you apply for a job, you should be tailoring your resume to every job. Tailor your proposal to the specific event and the theme of that event. So I submitted that proposal probably around August, September, so school, I wasn't really too busy yet, and then I kind of forgot about it basically after. I applied and then school started and I was in the full swing of the semester. And yeah, I really wasn't checking back. Like, when I applied, I didn't really have high hopes anyway, so I did the application and forgot about it. And then on October 10th, I got an email saying that I was invited to an in-person audition in Canada. And I was shocked. I was like, holy shit, what? And at this point, you know, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I was excited. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not start working on my speech right away. So for the audition, basically you had to do a 5-minute speech. 5 minutes sort of, it was like another proposal, it was another pitch about what your talk was going to be about. So you had 5 minutes, it was a strict, hard timeline. You weren't allowed to have notes, so everything had to be memorized. And then you were allowed to have slides as well, which is really what tripped me up because I suck at slideshows. I can write speeches, okay? I like to think I can write speeches. But PowerPoints trip me up on every single public speaking thing I've ever done. I'm pretty sure that every single public speaking engagement that I've done so far, I've done the PowerPoint like the day of or the night before. For my TEDx talk, for example, I made changes to my PowerPoint slides as late as the morning of. During our morning rehearsals on the day of the event, I changed my PowerPoint slides. And so finally, I think maybe a week before the event, I had what I thought was a finalized speech. And then basically that whole last week was me scrambling to memorize it and then scrambling to get a PowerPoint. I swear, like, I did the same thing. Like, the PowerPoint I submitted only probably because they needed it in advance. I submitted it maybe 3 days before the event. So the audition was November 6th, which was like a Monday or something. It was a weird day. And I went down the day before. Now, so I went down on Sunday. Here's the thing. Saturday morning, I woke up sick as freaking heck. I had the worst flu ever, and I was so mad because I never get sick. So I woke up Saturday morning before the audition dying. Like, I had my throat was all clogged up, like it was scratchy, it hurt to talk, my nose was running, I had the worst headache. I spent all that day fighting through my speech, trying to practice it. I don't know if that made my voice better or worse, but I was still trying to rehearse it. I was like, I have to do this, man, like I gotta do it. And then Sunday morning I woke up feeling even worse, and I had a 5-hour drive ahead of me to Ottawa. So I left Sunday morning, I drove down there to see my friend Maddie, who I stayed with while I was there, who is an angel. Oh my god. I was sick. I was so sick. The whole drive down, I was drinking tea, I was popping Tylenol, cold and flu, I had halls, like it was bad. And I got there and I felt so bad because I was sick, so we didn't go out and do anything. I think we like ordered pizza in or something, and I ended up like just eating soup and tea, and Maddie kept taking care of me and bringing me all these drugs and bringing me hot tea and soup and making sure I had blankets. And honestly, I think she's a huge part of why I got here, because I had a little nurse taking care of me the day before my audition. My voice was so bad that day. Like, I sounded awful, just awful. Like, I could barely talk, it hurt, I was like breathing heavy because I couldn't breathe, and it was a mess. So I woke up the Monday of the audition, and I was still not feeling good. So at that point I was just kind of like, you know what, whatever, I'm not gonna get it, but I made it this far, like that's good, that's worth celebrating. And I went in, I was feeling pretty nervous, I stressed about my outfit. I wanted to come off professional, like I was meant to be there, because I knew there was probably going to be a lot of high caliber speakers there, and there was. And I was third on the list. I don't remember if I found that out before I got there or when I got there. I feel like it was when I don't know. It was pretty close to the actual thing, but it was in alphabetical order, so obviously I was third on the list. And I was like, okay, you know, this is good. I can get it over with. You know, I can, you know, have a little bit of frame of reference. It's all good. So the first few before me were pretty good. I was like, oh, shit, okay, I gotta follow that up. And I went up there, I was feeling good, like I knew I had it memorized, so I wasn't really too nervous. I was just mostly just pissed off about my voice. So I got up there and I got the mic and I made a joke about being sick and everybody laughed. And also, another note, now that I've done a lot of public speaking things, I really appreciate it when people laugh at my jokes, as bad as they are, because there is nothing freaking worse than if you make a joke or what you think is a funny comment while you're public speaking and nobody laughs. It is so freaking awkward, and it just throws you off your whole game. So yeah, I made a joke and everyone laughed, and I was like, alright, this is good, alright. And I did my speech, I fought through it. My voice was pretty bad. I tried, but it was bad. And I remember at the end, there was like a timer in front of you so you could see what you were at, and I saw that I was cutting it close, so I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna wrap up quickly, because there were a few people that went over time, but I just didn't want to be that person everyone's sitting, because it was like a loud timer that went off too, like you knew when 5 minutes was up, so I was like, I didn't want to be that person. Like I said, I wanted to really show that I had prepared and that I was meant to be there. So I remember I cut out, not cut out, but I changed the end part of my speech to make it shorter so that I would fit within the timeline. I was so happy. I was like, yeah, I did that on the fly. I'm awesome. There was part of me that was like, I'm not gonna get it. You know, there was a lot of good speakers there and my voice is pretty shitty. But then there's also this part of me that was like, yeah, but you kind of killed it. Like, I was feeling pretty good about what I did. But mostly I was trying not to get my hopes up, because I was like, you know, this is still a TEDx event, like, I'm nobody, and I didn't want to get too excited about it because I didn't want to be crushed when they told me I didn't get it. So, basically, I think we waited not even 2 weeks before we heard back, and I got a freaking email saying that I had been selected. I was one of the final 8 people out of 20 people that auditioned and over hundreds that applied with online proposals. I was one of the 8 chosen to speak at the actual event, and I was freaking out. I was like, holy shit, is this a mistake? Is this the wrong person? And I was so excited and I was so happy. And honestly, from there, everything just happened so quickly. So basically, starting the end of November, we did bi-weekly video sessions, and then at the beginning, or at the end of January, we did an in-person audition, or an in-person rehearsal, and then I think it was mid-February we did another in-person rehearsal, and the event was March 1st. So the in-person rehearsals, I think those were the most valuable learning experiences for me. So there were 4 speakers, there was only 3 in my group, who basically sat at a boardroom at the Brookshire Hotel with our speaking coach and presented what we had so far. And at the first in-person rehearsal, I was so freaking unprepared. I had no slides. I had not memorized my speech. My speech was very, very rough. I had no end to it. And I felt so angry at myself afterwards, because I saw, so in my group I was with Jay and Catherine, who did amazing freaking talks at the event. I was shook when I saw them present at the event, because it's so weird, because I've known these people for like a couple months, but to see what their talks were, you know, at that end of January rehearsal to what they were on March 1st, like, it was amazing. I remember when Catherine was the first one up at the TEDx event, and she came off the stage and I was just like, that's my girl, she killed it. And it was just so neat, and it was really cool to, you know, establish relationships with these people who are so talented. And I'm rambling now, but basically what I'm getting at is that the in-person auditions were great, because now we not only had our speaking coach helping us, but we had other speakers. So there was a lot of different input and advice, and I really took a lot of it, and a lot of it was so helpful, and it helped me incorporate things into my speech. So I made a point of making sure that by the second in-person rehearsal, I was ready. And I went in there, and I think at that point it was just my slides that weren't done, but my speech was done. I had most of it memorized, and I was feeling pretty good. And people keep asking me, you know, were you nervous? Like how did you get out there in front of hundreds of people? And it's funny, because I wasn't. Like the weeks and months leading up to the event, I was not nervous at all. Even the day of the event, I was not nervous. So the event was on March 1st, so I flew into Ottawa on February 28th. I got into my hotel, and I hung out. I was watching Netflix, I ordered room service, and I practiced my speech a few times. But I wasn't really worried, I wasn't nervous, I was just like, I was excited. I was like, I'm gonna kill this tomorrow, like, I'm feeling good. And even the day of the event, March 1st, I got up, I went to the gym, I went to the spa, I came back, I got ready, and then I went to my rehearsal, and even in the morning, I remember there was one spot in my rehearsal where I tripped up and I forgot, and it was because of my slides. So that's when I made the amazing sound guys and tech guys change up my slides the morning of the frickin' event, because I tripped up. But even though I got tripped up in the rehearsal, I was still feeling good. I like went back to my hotel, I ran through it again, and I was like, all right, no worries, the slides are good, I'm good. And I was excited. And so this is the other thing I forgot to mention. When they originally sent out the speaking order for the event, I was going in like very early on. So they sent that out probably in January or February, and basically the event's broken up into 3 different sections. So 3 people speak, and then there's a break, and then 3 people speak, and then there's a break, and then the last 2 go. When I had originally saw the schedule, I was in that first block. I think I was like the 2nd person, and I was like, alright, that's cool, whatever. And then, just before our 2nd in-person audition in mid-February, they changed it, and all of a sudden I was the 2nd last one. And now I'm thinking, holy shit, what? And I was freaking out because I was like, I'm at the end now, like, this is, I gotta close this thing. Like, I was kind of freaking out at that point, but I was kind of excited. I was like, this is cool, right? They must think I'm pretty good if they're, you know, saying you can close it. So I was excited. So the day of the event, we did our rehearsals, and it was awesome. Everything went well, aside from that little mishap. Honestly, the most stressful thing was what I was going to wear. And then the event started, and we sat down, we watched the first 3 speakers, and I was like, this is awesome, this is cool. During the breaks, you got to mingle with people. There was like food and stuff. And then the next group of speakers went on, and I was like, alright, cool, cool. And yeah, in that break right before I was going on, I was like, holy shit, I cannot do this. I was freaking the out. So I think it was like a 15-minute break until I was supposed to go on. So the first 5 minutes I went and I was talking to my family, and I was like, guys, I can't do this. Like, I can't do this. I'm gonna vomit. Like, I'm gonna forget everything. I can't do it. And they had champagne, and I was like, I just want to drink champagne, but I can't drink champagne because I gotta go on. Ended up having a sip of champagne. I was like, it's not working. Oh my god. And I was just freaking out. And then they took us into this green room to get us all mic'd up, and so it was me and it was Jim. We were the last 2, and he was in there, and he was all getting in the zone, and we were both pretty nervous. So it was me and Jim and our 2 speaking coaches, Terry in the room, and honestly, if those 3 had not been in the room with me, I would have ran out of there. I was freaking out. Honestly, like, my legs were shaking. Like, when we finally got up to like walk out of the green room, my legs were shaking. I thought I was gonna fall over. I was freaking out. I felt so nauseous. I was so scared. My heart was racing, and our speaking coaches took us through these like exercises to sort of calm us down and clear our minds. Basically, that was the big thing that, you know, we were told to do, is just like clear your mind, like don't think about anything else. Like, if you think about anything else, like that's where you're gonna get messed up. And it was kind of helpful, but I was always kind of like, I'm gonna die. Like, I can't clear my mind. What do you mean? I'm freaking out. And what calmed me down, and honestly guys, this is my Ellen moment. I'm gonna say this, when I get big, Ellen's gonna see this, and I'm gonna go on Ellen, and there's gonna be a surprise guest, and it's gonna be freaking Barack Obama, because this is how I calmed down. We did our little clearing mind breathing thing, and I was still like, shit man, I'm gonna die. And my lock screen is, oh hang on, there are notifications, because I've been ignoring people because I'm filming. So my lock screen is Barack Obama drinking out of a freaking coconut, because I love Barack and I love the tropics, so that's just a constant mood. And my speaking coach noticed it and was like, oh, is that Barack Obama? I was like, yes, Barack Obama. He's like, have you seen his movie on Netflix? And I was like, yes, I have. And we were talking about what a great speaker Barack Obama is, and that calmed me down. Talking about Barack Obama and thinking about what a great speaker he is, and I was like, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna be Barack. It was go time, and honestly, I think I was still a little nervous up until I got on the stage. And as soon as I set foot on the stage and started talking, I was good. Like, I knew what I had to say, I knew what I rehearsed, what I practiced, and I was so confident, and I was so happy with the way it turned out. And I hit all my one-liners, and as soon as I started talking, I was back. I was 100%, and I think I killed it. Can I say that I killed it? I think I did. But yeah, and now I have a freaking TEDx talk on YouTube, and it's crazy. It was honestly just the most rewarding and incredible experience of my entire life. Like, I challenged myself, and I proved myself wrong, and I proved myself that, you know, I showed myself that I can do so much more than I ever thought I was capable of. And I feel like now I just have so much momentum, even still 6 weeks later, just from this event, pushing me forward. And it's like, if you did that, like, what else can you do? And now I just feel like I just want to keep pushing myself to figure out what else I can do. Oh, this is funny. I need to tell you because I forgot, and it has to go in this video. So remember how I said I submitted a lot of proposals to a lot of different TEDx events? When I got the email saying I'd been accepted to TEDx Canada, I didn't know what proposal I sent. So I had to ask them what proposal I had sent when they accepted me to come to the in-person audition. I was like, oh, do you know what? I think I kind of forget how I worded this exactly. Do you have a copy of my proposal? Could you just remind me of what it was? I had no idea. I completely forgot because I sent so many off. I told you I wasn't really thinking anything, so I just sent these off, not even expecting to hear back, so I didn't think to make a note of what I had sent. So I just want to end this off by saying a huge thanks to everybody who helps me out in getting here. The speaking coaches, the other speakers, everybody at the TEDx Canada team who put up with me for getting my proposal and changing my title and changing my slides and all this stuff. And I want to thank my family who heard this speech thousands of times and could probably give it better than I could on the day of. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that this answered a lot of your questions, but if you have any more, feel free to leave them down below, and I'll also be writing a post about my TEDx experience if you want to check that out. I'll leave the link down below. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.